Hello and welcome. Welcome to Drakenmemoria. For those of you wondering what this is, well, it's Dungeons & Dragons, or more specifically, a group of people playing Dungeons & Dragons. And as you can see, the entire group is here this week. Yay! Just in time to be traumatized. So if this is not something you want to watch, for whatever the reason, well, maybe you're in luck if you're watching this from YouTube or from Twitch. You have suggestions, either to the right or the left. Pick one. We won't. Well, you know, we won't hold it against you for long. For everyone else who actually wants to be here because they enjoy Dungeons & Dragons, because they enjoy us playing Dungeons & Dragons, because they enjoy looking at people being traumatized by a single person claiming to be the all-ruler of this world. Welcome among us! It's a pleasure to have you here! If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, you're coming back from a previous session, welcome back. And that's about everything I can say before we start. As you can hear, thunderstorm. It's not because it's doing it. This is what's happening outside here, although it is raining pretty hard outside. It's because of an ambiance music, and that is Ambiance Mixer. You have information below. Then when there is a battle map, it's Dungeon Alchemist, and when there is a world map, it's Wonder Draft. I still haven't put up the information for either of the last two. I will. It's on my list of things. And I think that's about everything we had to say, unless one of you has something to add to this. No, we still don't have Raid Shadow Legend.
Have you fallen and can't get up?
No. Do you have symptoms of moderate to severe colitis?
Do you have gas?
Ulcerative colitis, that's it.
Alright, so, well, since everyone seems to be completely fine with us moving on like this, let's get started.
Have dry eyes?
Oh, I miss the Clear Eyes commercials. The one with the guy speaking with this monotone voice. Oh, I miss it. Alright, so let's get started. Here in Quebec we had another commercial with a pharmacy. Became so popular. Oh, I miss those good commercials that are no longer on the air. So, last episode, the party continued its journey on board the flying ship, commissioned for them by the Garden.
That's the name of the ship, the flying ship.
Yeah, you don't know what Kunal mean. Each party member kept itself busy with its own little things until the ship started being hunted. Fortunately, their choice of captain and ship transformed what would have been a horrendously difficult encounter into little more than a stomach-churning encounter, which only placed them in danger of losing their lunch. Yes, I practiced saying this in a single sentence.
Hey, lunch is very important.
Yes, always.
Might
Yeah, who needs it?
be. Except I did. Still.
Or I do, not Fisher.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
It's a half sin. You're almost forgiven. Once there were less...
Now we know what you're being judged for.
Dun, dun, dun.
The construct is being charged for not eating.
So, once they were less than a day away from their destination, they were all gathered and some final bits of information was shared.
Wow.
Further traumatizing everyone in the group. As some have felt that this should have been included in the first debriefing they had. But now it's too late, and they don't have much of a choice. Regarding that last one, I feel like I might have undersold some element because I was way too much into the monotonal voice of Civ and didn't get across the importance of one element when I was doing the editing. Because yes, I do edit those videos when I put them on YouTube, but it's only the breaks that I remove. The 10 minutes before, 15 minutes break in the center, and the 15 minutes of music at the end. That's the only thing I remove. Because if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just pause it. So. Fisher, there's one element that I feel that I might have undersold when I was talking. Where you're going right now, they are much more accepting of everything you represent. You are a construct, but they have been using construct for longer than everyone else in the Shattered Continent. They have been getting sentient construct for longer than everyone in the Shattered Continent. Where there is an element where you will always have to feel the room first is your insignia of being a railroad worker. There you go. Will always bring you some favor. People like the railroad workers. So you would have a positive response when people see that, oh, okay, you're actually one of those who works there. That's nice. That's cool. Okay. Kids love trains, and they will respond you well. Their parents love it because you keep everyone safe. Where you might have a bad response is if you show too much of the reprogramming that you had, the retrofitting. It's everything that will show you as being a warrior, as being aggressive, a combatant. That will give you negative response. Because they will think about, oh, you're a warrior now. You have attacked people of your own will. So, feel the room. You might find yourself more accepted than you've ever been, or more ostracized than you've ever been, if you judge the room poorly.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, because the way you said it last week made it seem like it was going to be worse here. But it seems like for the most part it's going to be better, as long as I don't let people know that I can, yeah.
Just wear a conductor hat everywhere.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Okay.
So, now that this has been clarified, on with the episode. So, after this small briefing, well, it's not raining inside of the ship, so we can stop the thunderstorm. So, once this briefing is done, and Jorg, if you watched the episode previously, so that you know at least... Alright.
Watch the whole thing.
Okay. Well, it's really more the debriefing that I wanted to be sure that you saw. Maybe if you have any questions just before we leave, before the scene ends properly. Questions you might have wanted to ask Civ.
No.
Okay.
I didn't think of any.
Okay. So, as you all leave the room where you are, Civ goes first, and you're all left staring at one another, wondering what the heck have you gone into right now. There is this moment of silence in the room, and Oh, actually, I think Jorg also has a pretty high... Alright, so Jorg, Tobiashi, and Remy. As you're all pondering about this and all preparing to leave the room where this briefing was held, like I said, Jorg, Tobiashi, and Remy, you catch a glimpse of a conversation between the captain and first mate. It's really at the edge of your ability to hear, so not every single word is clear, but the conversation seems to be going in the sense of first mate has been asked by the captain to slow down the ship for a few hours. Apparently you've entered into the territory of someone, and the captain would like to pay his respect and bring back something he promised he would. You're not sure what it is exactly. When first mate asks the question, it's just not clear exactly what that object is, that thing is. Either you don't recognize the name of it, or it just got garbled with all of the exterior sound of the ship outside. People walking about and a few orders being thrown around. Then the conversation stops and you hear first mate go in a direction and the captain go in another direction.
Can't be seen together.
And okay, I guess I won't do much. I guess I'll let it. I guess I'll let it do whatever's gonna happen. I won't pry into anybody else's business.
It does feel like first mate is going toward the engines, and the captain is going toward the observation deck. You don't have to do anything. I'm just saying that because you have such a high passive perception, all three of you, you hear that.
I'll follow lightly behind I was going to say co-captain, the second in command.
First mate?
Yeah, first mate. I guess sneaking.
Wait, Toby, where are you going?
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. When we have
Mr. Raimi disappeared.
Yeah, let me see if I can sneak away from you guys real quick. Let's see if you guys see me. I would have to roll a stealth check for that.
And while everyone is focusing on Tobiashi, who's trying to be stealthy, Remy, can you make a roll?
I rolled a 17.
That beats mine. Never mind.
He just turns around. He's like, Toby, I'm just gone.
What are we doing? Active perception, or
if you want?
Are we using?
Are you guys gonna roll to see it?
I'm not gonna roll.
Yeah, I mean, since I heard it, I might as well roll to see. I got a non-natural 20.
My lord.
Maybe I'll just follow you.
You sneak away from everybody.
What is your stealth roll, Remy?
24.
24. So you don't see
Also
Remy
you.
leaving, but you see Tobiashi trying to be very stealthy, and because of that, Tobiashi, Fisher and audience are just looking at one another, thinking, "Ah, man, this is gonna be so hard, and there's gonna be so much problem." And then they start looking around, and they realize, "Oh, yeah, that's right. As always, Remy is gone, and Tobiashi is gone also. Oh, but we see Jorg. Oh, and he's following Tobiyashi. Okay, I see him now.
Gave away.
I guess you can ask me what's happening.
Yeah, well, I heard it, so I'm not. I know what you're doing. I heard him.
You see me because of Jorg. If you want to ask me what I'm doing.
I guess I
Where's
asked.
everybody going?
Oh,
Yeah.
what? Oh, sorry. I was Okay, so I guess I'll get up closer to them and I'll tell them kind of what I heard. I guess we're gonna be slowing down a little bit. They have to deliver something to someone or pay homage to somebody in this area. It's about what I heard. I'm not sure where Remy went, but I was going to follow the second or the why do I keep forgetting what he's called?
First mate.
First mate.
He's a construct, so his name is representative of
So do we need to deliver something or pay homage, or do they?
No,
need
it
to
was them.
deliver
It was them. It was them. They're doing something without us knowing. I was gonna follow the first mate to see if he was gonna go grab the thing, or see what was gonna go on. So that's why I was sneaking away. I should have told you guys. Sorry.
I kind of feel like if they don't want us there, they've been good to us. I'm just not going to follow them. I like
Just-
they have a good reason.
Well, that's what I was thinking at first, but I mean, what if it's something we need to know? You know, I mean,
You know what? I'm gonna trust them.
their business is our business. We're on a ship together. We're kind of the same crew. I think it's
Yeah.
kind of weird that they're
Yeah,
not
but it might be something personal that like we're not really. But they just don't want to like, especially if it's like paying homage or something.
All right. I guess we could just get ready for this.
I mean, I assume Ramey's already checking it out, so I assume he'll report back.
Yeah, most likely.
So I feel like we don't need to send more of us who are maybe more likely to get caught.
Yeah, I guess so. We'll see what happens. Let's just get ready for what was the plan we were going to go with, and I'll start talking to them about what we're going to do when we get on the island, what path we're going to take. We got the train, we have the outer lands where there's a whole bunch of like, I'm just kind of thinking of this as like a EWD kind of thing. The Walking Dead.
It's still very rough because I've been trying to make it as pretty as I can,
Mhm.
oh goodness, it's too big.
I'm just talking to them about like the different pathways that we heard the last time that we were playing.
Yeah.
From what Civ told us.
I mean, I know this might sound surprising coming from me, but I feel like the thing we lack the most of right now on this mission is information. And I feel like we can kind of make better decisions if we have more information. So one of the first things I wanted to do was see if we could find one of those libraries, and maybe there'd be some allies in the libraries, and we could actually kind of learn more about maybe what the thing is that we're trying to rescue, more about the Spire, maybe find something else that could like help us, make
We
a
don't have
decision
a-
of
We don't have a time limit on this mission, right?
I mean,
The garden
Not
wants you
really.
back alive. That's your
Yeah.
time
That's
limit.
yeah, like I assume we might end up being here for even like a couple months.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's the slower we go, the less we get caught. We're not just trying to run in there, do something real quick.
No, we're not trying.
bunch of
No,
noise,
if we
right?
get caught, then the wizard does. That's why we're trying not to draw attention.
Now,
to
here's my
ourselves.
question: if one of us gets caught, are we going to try? Is the team going to try to help the other one, or are we just going to let them get caught?
I mean, I think it kind of
'Cause, I mean,
who gets
what's-
caught. Like Remy, I'll try and save you. On the other hand, no.
Well, I mean,
Wow.
okay, that's what I'm saying.
I'm joking.
I say if any of us get caught, right?
Yeah.
I think it would be safer if none of us try to go save them, even if it's somebody that is more important. Other than that, I don't know what you guys think, but I think it would be safer if we just let them get caught and we try to save them during the end of our mission, no matter what they have to go through. It's for I was going to say the greater good, but for a better understanding of what we have to go through before we get in there, right?
Well, I will say
Yeah.
this: if Fisher gets captured, I think he's the only person who can run the train.
Well, obviously, a Fisher is kind of like our.
So that's kind of important.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I also don't feel great about just leaving someone to get tortured.
Well,
No.
still, well, I mean, if it's either
Also-
me, George, or Remy, or you, okay. I'm not saying that we're not important. None of us are important to this group, right? I'm just saying that it would leave us
Us
more
are important.
time.
We're all
None of us are important other than. No, I'm saying. I'm kidding.
I mean, I agree that I think we should plan out a safe and smart rescue mission, but I also just don't think we should just leave them there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
obviously.
we should try and get, because we're going to the Spire anyways.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
we
should we
should
just
try to-
rush in after them and try and save
No,
them
yeah,
without
that's what I'm
anything?
saying. Like,
no.
try to rush in after them, but like take it slow, you
No,
know.
but we should still try and not
Like-
just leave them and do other things while we.
Yeah,
Well,
and if they're
obviously,
gonna
yeah.
get captured, we should try and prevent it. If they do get captured, and there's
But we
no
don't
way
want
to
to show
catch
ourselves
them,
right away. Like, imagine if we just
Yeah.
get there, someone gets captured, and we automatically try to save them as fast as we can. We're gonna get seen. People are gonna notice us.
yeah, but with
I'm not like saying
if we
every man
get
for
captured,
himself,
I feel like we're gonna give up more information than if we kill the captors. So like we should, I think it would be better to go all out killing the ones that are capturing us, to try and prevent being
Well,
captured.
Yeah, that's true. But
I
I mean,
also think this is a very worst case scenario. I think we should focus more on not getting captured in the
Yeah.
first place than we should be focusing on
Well,
our
still, but if
energy
it
on the
happened-
possibility of one of us getting captured.
We
yeah,
can't
that's
leave
true.
anything living, except unless it's like a citizen. But like,
I was gonna say I don't think we're doing a no witness here, George. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know about the citizens. There's some good. There might be good people, children.
I don't know. I feel like we're back
know.
in Portal for the good of all of us, except those who are dead. No sense crying over.
Judge
every
might have to have some
mistake.
words with you, George. About
Well, we still have to
that,
think about the stuff,
That kind of
even-
thinking.
Even if it's the worst case scenario, we should think about what we should be doing so we're all on the same page of what happens, right?
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of open for whatever. Again, I think it's important that we gain information, so I want to try and find a library earlier rather than later. But I think
Yes.
there's a lot of different ways we can also gain information.
Mhm.
Obviously, going and talking to the people, like we'd have to build their trust first, so they might require us to do some things for them, but they probably have some information.
We
But
should probably see how they're clothed there too. Maybe disguise ourselves. I don't know. We don't want to look like a sore thumb.
I mean,
Yeah.
I have to wear my I have to wear
wear a
clothes,
shirt.
not
Yeah.
try to pay attention to myself because apparently they're like no other Dragonborn.
Very few.
What's up with that? Was it because there weren't, or is it just because Dragonborns are so good?
Well,
As a question
Um,
of culture, it's usually because Dragonborn are either black or white.
I was being sarcastic if you couldn't tell.
yeah, insight check. No, I'm trying. Yeah, no. Of course. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, just asking questions so we know we're all on the same page. Who we should, take. Yeah, it's calling me. Sorry about that.
I think one thing I would say is I think we should stay away from it sounds like trying to lead a rebellion or start a rebellion. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like this is going to be too complicated to do and draw too much attention to ourselves.
Yeah, rebellion could always happen when
like-
other people are coming to the island after we set the beacon down, right?
Like, We're
So-
also dealing with things that are supposedly immoral, and if we lead a rebellion, that would probably be pretty immoral, and we might not be able to get out if we do that. Because don't we have to prove our morality to get back out?
No, we can get back out using the
Right.
that-
Orbs.
don't
So then
have-
if
Maybe.
they rebel, they're
Speculating,
just going to be stuck
considering.
there anyways, right? It'd be better for us to just deal with the.
it's more about gaining control from the wizard, their rebellion.
Yeah.
But I think that
That's a whole economy thing that we don't want to deal with.
yeah, I don't really want to get involved in that. I think that's outside of our
Because
scope.
even
Yeah.
if we do help out with that, they're gonna have to figure out who's the leader, blah blah blah, what kind of thing they're gonna be running. That's something for other people to do when we set down the beacon.
It also sounds like to lead a large scale, we'd have to break it. It sounds like breaking, they don't even really know what breaking a generator might do. It obviously made things worse when they tried to break it before. So if we fully broke it, who even knows if it would actually even help? It might just make the mist even stronger. Maybe just live people would just start
Distraction,
dying on
yeah.
the spot.
Yeah, that's true.
So it just seems like a risk. That's
doesn't it bring
unnecessary.
people back to life too? It doesn't let people die.
Well, it brings them back as
raises
undead.
them.
It raises them as undead. But that's with it not even fully broken, which is why I'm saying maybe like if we fully broke it, it would just start turning people into like undead on the spot. Like we don't really know what it does. So
that's true.
It just
think
seems too
our
risky.
course of action should be try and find one or more libraries.
Study.
Figure out. See if we might be able to find where our target is being held. And then also if we could figure out how to fix the train.
Yeah.
And then go to Mid-Sal, fix the train.
My next course
take
of
that
action.
in.
My next question is when we're on the island, we're not. If we see people in danger, we're not typically trying to save them, are we? We're not trying to risk our life for smaller people on the island.
I mean, I'll try and save a civilian, but I don't think I'm gonna risk. If it's like if they seem to be in a position that we can easily save them, I think we should save them. But if they're obviously being overwhelmed by like forces we don't think we can handle easily or quickly, I don't think. I hate to say this, but I don't think it's worth risking our entire mission to.
We have a bigger mission at hand.
Could
Yes,
do
that's of
more
course.
for them than.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's all I have to ask. Just some important questions that I thought we should think about.
So just so that you have an idea of where you're going, I put a rough version of the map of the Misty Isles. I say rough version because I didn't have time to draw in forest and mountains, but the rest is there.
Fair enough.
So take it as Civ drew by hand on a piece of paper the general shape of the islands, the island chain you're going in, placed a few dots where major cities and towns were.
He did that drawing at the end of iRobot where he's like just going across the paper.
Yeah.
So he does tell you that the island we are aiming to land on is the one that is on the east side, and the island which has been completely overrun by undead because they attacked the generator is the northern one.
So is he going to be able to get out?
He's
How does
gonna
the boat
with
get
us.
out?
You don't know. He didn't say.
I assume there's like some system of, because like you wouldn't want the people bringing in prisoners to just be trapped there every time they bring in prisoners.
So is the
there's gotta be a
spire in the
system
middle
for
right
that.
there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Spire's in the middle. Okay. And then those like road things are the train tracks, I'm guessing.
Those that go. Yeah, that's right. I haven't finished doing the railroad work for all of the cities. Those that are very straight lines are railroads, and for trains, and those who have they're not straight. Well, those are normal roads. Like I said, I've been drawing for the last 2 days. I didn't have.
That's a really nice map. It's good.
That is. So the railroads go on the water.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
Bridge have been
Funky.
built.
But they don't have railroads on the land.
I was planning to, and I
Okay.
realized 20 minutes before we started. I forgot those. I forgot those. There will be some.
Well, you see, no, it's like that Legend of Zelda game where like the train tracks just suddenly appear as your train goes by, and you just have to accept the spirit tracks.
I forgot about that game.
So, for those of you watching next episode, I will do my best to have a finished version of the map so you can actually see it. Using Wonder Draft. So, All right. So while you're all discussing this, Remy, where exactly are you going?
So just so I make sure I didn't like misconstrue a particular detail, it's like it was the captain asking the first mate to slow the ship down.
Yes.
Okay. In which case, I think Raimi would have actually gone to tail the captain, because as far as he could probably tell, the first mate is doing as asked and slowing down the ship. So, meaning that the captain probably has a better idea or might be involved in whatever they were talking about.
Okay. So, while everyone is talking about this, Remy, you're doing your best to keep to the shadows and follow the captain without him noticing. It would seem, fortunately for you, that he does not have supernatural perception of his surrounding. So, either he doesn't mind you following, or he hasn't seen you. Contrary to other entities that I've pushed you up against that have crazy high passive perception.
I've been in a game where I just have to be prepared that everybody knows expertise, so it's just like it's honestly a relief when I'm not constantly facing rogues and or bards.
So,
or I guess rangers too.
Yeah, or people buying the feet also, you know. So basically anyone. Don't let me going with the multi-class. So you follow the captain, and he does go outside. But before leaving the last room, which leads to the observation deck, he goes to a box, and he takes something inside, which is wrapped in a what you'd call a very coarse linen cloth. It's roughly a foot long and not very thick. Maybe, judging from the cloth, either there is a very thick amount of cloth, or the object inside is no bigger than half an inch in thickness.
It's only about $5.
You take this and opens the door and goes outside. You slowly feel the ship also slowing down, and as you follow him, he goes outside, and then he goes on the last stairs to go to the top of the observation deck, where he waits there for a moment. The night has fallen, and you are above the cloud cover, with the exception of this feeling very cold. You are shown a very impressive displays of star in the sky. There are moons. You've never seen quite as many stars shining above your head. As you look around, the captain, he just seems to be waiting for something. Do you want to make yourself known, or stay there and just keep watching?
I guess to answer that question, like, did it seem at all like the captain was trying to not be noticed, or trying not to draw attention, or did he just seem to be going about his business?
Make an insight roll.
Answer a question with another question.
That will be 21.
21. You feel he's being careful, but not careful as in, I really don't want anyone to know what I'm doing. More careful as in, some people might find this stressful if they realize what I'm doing. So it's more of a question of accommodating everyone than wanting to be completely hidden from everyone.
So, I think in this situation, like Raimi might feel more comfortable than leaving the shadows, but he won't necessarily like make a lot of noise about it. I think what he would do is just like, especially because the observation deck, and because of the night as it is, I think he might just kind of like carefully make his way over and like even kind of like sit down cross-legged on the floor of the observation deck and just like look up nearby.
Okay. So you carefully make your way to the same level as where the captain is, and you sit down in a way that does feel like I'm respectful of what you want to do. So if you don't want to include me in this, I'm just watching. And you sit down, you look around, you feel like the captain has noticed you. And it takes a few moments, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And then the captain just goes, "Well, I hope you're not too afraid of being visited during the night." And he's looking behind the ship. Does your gaze go where his is looking?
I think that would be his natural instinct.
So you turn your head and you look overboard, and while it is a very interesting night sky that you see there, there is a moment where, well, there's nothing very special, and then you see a bunch of stars flickering off and reappearing a moment later. Then you see another group of stars just go as if something is moving very far away. Then there is a moment where, oh, there's something. And from the quantity of stars just disappearing for a moment and reappearing, you get the impression that it is something flying. And the more the second passes, the bigger you have a feeling that this thing actually is. Initially, it feels like, oh, it's probably the size of a bird, like a large bat. Oh, maybe a small griffin? Okay, now it's starting to feel like a rock, maybe? And then you don't see anything. It's not appearing anywhere. Then you have a moment of, I don't remember the ship having a tail. You see this long tail trailing from under the ship. A brilliant white color. One might even call it radiant white. It is easily 200 feet long. Then you hear just the wind moving around the ship. You hear this moment of, and you see this large snake-like dragon move to the side of the ship. And you have a moment of saying, well, our ship is big, but it's small compared to that. That's the biggest dragon you've ever seen in your entire life. It is easily 500 feet long. Huge feathered wings. 4 of them. He just seems to be gliding. He slows down just a little bit, and you see his massive head reaching where the captain is. Does Remy speak language of the dragon?
He does not.
So,
It didn't have enough prep to have comprehend languages ready.
so the initial conversation you recognize as being draconic. You've heard many examples of this. And there is a strength to the dragon when it speaks, almost resonating. Nearly frightful resonance, but stopping just short of creating a fear response. Then you see Captain Kunal, Captain Null, unwrap what he has, and you see it is a very large feather, one that fits the underbelly of the dragon.
Like in the
What?
strip the feather. You know?
You're not in a dream right now.
No. Feels like I am.
The dragon, at least you feel it smiles. And the captain just lets the feather go. And for a moment, the feather seems to just fly off. And you have this moment of, oh, the feather. And then you just see the feather starting to move. But the wind seems to be responding to the will of the dragon. And you see the feather just moving about around him. And then eventually going under him. And you never see the feather again. Feels like it just reattached itself to the dragon. Unsurprisingly, you realize that the dragon knows you are there. Well, yeah, that kind of perception, no, I don't want to try to oppose it. So you see the dragon slows down a little bit, even more. And you see this massive head slowly sliding toward where you are. You see his eye, the size of a person, of audience standing like this, looking at you. You hear the dragon say in common, "I remember you." No. Not you exactly. But I see it inside. I knew I'd see you again. Travel well. We have yet one remaining encounter. The voice is amazingly gentle for a creature this size. Do you respond in any way?
Raimi is going to do the friendliest thing he knows how to do. He's going to make a rainbow.
Yes. It is almost you. And then without effort, he just goes back slightly forward to where Captain Null is. He speaks to Captain Null in Draconic, and you just see the dragon leaving. Captain turns toward you and says, "Well, I guess you are going to have something to talk about to your friends. Just choose them wisely. Not everyone is comfortable knowing that a dragon of this size was flying below the ship." And he leaves you to the deck.
Maybe, like when he says that, maybe just like puts one of his taloned hands to his beak and makes the sound.
He gives you a small, playful nod. He leaves you to the... He leaves you... Well, if you want to come with him, he's not going to shut the door behind him. But if you want to stay out and look at the stars a bit, maybe try and figure out if you can still see the dragon, he leaves you there to your contemplation. If not, you can just follow him back in. But he just goes back in.
I say at the very least he would take, a few extra minutes to himself, if for no other reason than to undo the, I feel like would have been an inevitable amount of tension that built into his muscles during that encounter. I'm talking about, just like, I mean, not that really any of us have been in this situation, but like when know that you're next to a very deadly predator and you're not trying to make any sudden moves, so like all your muscles lock up.
Surprisingly, I've been in something similar. So
yes, but so allowing relief to wash over his body. It is after that has happened, then he decides to leave the observation deck.
Okay, so you take a few moments, shake off everything that happened there, the awe, the fright, the surprise, the "oh my god, I'm so small right now" feeling that just washed over you. The incredible might of this creature. And you go back in. You've been locked out. No, you can simply go back in. And
just like we were going to just sacrifice a goat, but then you came out.
So, you're let back inside. You go through the first room. You go down the first stairs to go to the second deck, where first mate is waiting for you. He just looks at you for a moment, just, "Huh. All right then," and he just leaves. And you're left to your own business. Sorry, I was distracted because I saw a huge message and it's someone trying to sell viewers. Thank you for banning it. I work very hard for my viewers. I'm not taking shortcuts. You're left to your own business. You probably go back to where... When you go back inside, you sort of realize that your party hasn't moved from the room yet. They're still talking about, but we should leave no one alive. George says...
That's not what I meant.
Wait a minute here.
Remy just makes sure that he has his healing potions in their right locations, and then just sneaks himself back into the room.
So after everyone had this really strange conversation, and Remy had this very odd moment outside, well, you're all reunited before going to bed.
Oh, there's Remy. He was here the whole time in the shadows over there. Look at
What are you
him.
doing last? So Remy, what were they up to? Is there anything we need to be worried about? I assume you went and followed them.
Remy nods.
About us having to be worried about it, or
Remy holds up 2 talons, then holds up 1 talon and shakes his head.
Okay. Good. What were they up to?
Honestly, Remy kind of like reaches into like his small pocket and reveals the medallion of the dragon.
Are they secret worshippers of the religion of the dragon? That'd be cool.
Sort of.
Just like Remy is about to give a more definitive response, lowers the talon, and then gives the so-so motion.
Can you describe like what? I mean, I guess unless you don't want to, like what? Describe to us what you. Well, what do you mean?
Remy is going to look at the doorway. Is the door closed?
You can close it if you want.
Remy's just going to close the door real quick.
Alright.
And then, granted, the scaling is going to be... Actually, no, he has the spell slot for silent image. He can do this. I was about to say, it's just like, wow, this is going to be very terrible scaling. It's just like, no, we can make it a little better. And so he's just going to open up his arms, and it's like, just the image of the dragon that paid them a visit, to the best of his ability, anyway.
So you're treated to the camera version of what Remy saw, with suddenly a tail growing behind the ship, a white tail, and then the entire dragon just rolling around on itself and start flying right beside the ship. Unfortunately, you are forced to look at where Remy was looking at that moment because he's a Kenku and he can't imagine the rest. So you have this reflex of going, oh, where's the... Oh, yeah, that's right, it's Remy. So, never mind. But you have a sense of scale.
That's a big dragon.
Audience is gonna start crying. I missed him. I missed a 500-foot dragon right outside our ship.
Is that the dragon? The one you're always going on about?
No. But I still missed a 500-foot dragon.
Although, I guess because audience is there, though, it's like, because of his own curiosity, he is going to
Add sound.
attempt to replicate what he heard in Draconic.
Alright. Well, that can be odd because you're replicating this phonetically. So roll intelligence to see if audience manage to recognize the words that are being spoken.
Me or
Yeah, we
Remy?
don't really know how old this dragon is.
No, Remy, because he's the one making the...
Is that it? Okay, yeah. So that's an 18.
Alright. So, it's good enough that you recognize most of the words. Some of them are a bit garbled, but most of what he was saying you actually can recognize. And I believe Tobiyashi also knows how to speak Draconic, so I think you also understand. So the start of the conversation is slightly surprising, but also not. Kunal, the Captain Null, acknowledging the dragon, acknowledging the fact that this is part of his territory. And as agreed on last time he was here, he is bringing back his feather. It served him well. But as you can see, the feather gave everything it had to give. And so now it is only a feather. A feather given by a dragon, and so a feather returned to a dragon. You also think you understood the name of the dragon as Zalta.
One second, I have to go to my notes real quick.
So
You said
dragons
it.
to find later.
No, I just want to check something.
You said Zalta?
S Zalta.
Yeah.
Esszalta.
You said ELTA?
Alta. Esszalta.
ALTA. Zalta. Okay. All right.
So,
Captain Null wished on a dragon scale. That's what's not
fuck. All right, that's okay. I did not write down what the dragon.
I forgot what it was.
What the dragon that Zedecan
Something
was.
the Magic Dragon. That's a song. It's a song, guys.
Magic Dragon?
Magic
Yeah. That song.
Would I remember the dragon's name that Zedecan said from the Dreamland? The dragon he sent off. That was his brother.
That's right. No, because he didn't name him. He simply called him my brother.
Yeah, he said my
yeah,
brother.
that's why I didn't write it down. Okay. Just wondering.
I just started a dragon list, though. I think it's the first name that I've gotten. Maybe.
First one you wrote down.
It's just interesting because audience knows that there are very few feathered dragons. And he only knows of a few. And he also knows that a dragon that's 500 feet has been alive for a very, very long time. Okay, that's fine.
Are dragons like hermit crabs where they just keep growing?
Until
they die.
I'm not sure in recent D&D lore, but in past lore, yes.
Cool.
This is why it didn't go beyond level 12, because it is believed that if a dragon reach level 12 and it evolves another level, it becomes so vast that it just leaves its body behind. It's just too massive.
Whoa.
It becomes draconic energy.
Yeah, what if we're living on a dragon that's curled up in a ball?
Yeah, there
have
are
been
at least
worlds-
hints of
I
this.
think there have been worlds like that, kind of.
Probably.
Okay. There are hints of this in the mechanics because usually, the older a dragon gets, its size category increases.
Yeah, I know. It's only in I think it's Fitzban's Treasury that they tackled larger sized dragon, but So yeah, technically dragon grow more powerful with time and riches that they accumulate. So there is a very sizable power difference between age levels for dragons.
Damn.
So a 500-foot long dragon. Well, let's just say that he was there, he was alive, and the Mistle Island chain hadn't been colonized yet. Easily.
Oh well. Alright, that's something to look into later.
And the ending of the conversation is simply Captain Null thanking the dragon for watching over them for this last leg of their journey, and introducing Remy, which was standing close to him, drawing his attention to the fact that Remy seemed curious and almost ready to pee his pants.
Audience could have been introduced to him.
Audience is crying right now. You have very rarely seen audience cry. Audience is crying tears.
You could feel the pain in his chest.
Audience is deeply depressed.
Yeah, his heart sunk to his stomach real quick.
It'd be like if, like, you were, like, inside, and your friend, like, walked outside for a bit, and then came back in and was like, oh, yeah, that celebrity you always wanted to meet, like, your entire life. Yeah, I know. He was just, like, out there. I just had a conversation with him for a bit, and he just, like, left, you know?
Yeah. An anime death scene just happened.
Audience is just like, I missed it. It was so close.
And he ended up being our mailman. I don't know why he was out there.
Oh, yeah. So, for the first time, you look at audience, and Jorg, you feel like you might need to revivify him. Feels like he's having a stroke right now.
Just turned pale. He's like a light grayish, like yellow color.
Yeah, normally he has these bronze scales. Now they're, fading. It's sort of weird. It's like he just gained 30 years.
Damn.
You feel like he's gonna need a walking stick now. His knees, they're just starting to buckle slightly.
Nobody knows how that feels.
Audience goes, well, that's very cool, Remy. I'm very sad that I missed that. Maybe we'll run into him again at some point. I would love to ask him a couple questions.
Yeah, I guess Raimi makes note to repeat the part that was referred to him in common, and then put special emphasis on raising 2 talons. And then minor illusions a question mark.
Repeat the part that was said to him in common.
Yeah, during the conversation, the dragon said that they would meet once more.
Oh. Wait, audience goes, wait, this dragon knew you?
It's like Raimi just minor illusions, another question mark.
So the part of the conversation he's referring to is the moment where he says, I know you. No. Not you. Almost you.
That's
From the future.
interesting. Audience stays. There would be no way a 500-foot dragon should, unless you've ran into him before. But I don't think you have because you never mentioned it.
Time Knights.
Yeah. And he's just having one of those dreams that we were put in.
It's either
part
from
of
a
me
dream-
really just wants to. Part of me wishes that Kenku could be that kind of dick and just like, you never asked. It's just like,
You guys wanted me to talk this whole time? I'm sorry, guys. You should just ask me if I could talk. I mean, nobody. I just assumed talk this whole time.
All right.
Alright, something to think about for the future.
What she said.
Interesting. Audience just changed.
Raimi
sex.
just like turns his head to Tobiyashi suddenly with panic on his eyes.
Sorry, you don't know her. She goes to another school, another monastery.
Like, I thought she went to your monastery.
No, it's another one. You don't know her.
Alright, well, I guess we should get ready to enter the mists.
Should we get? Do you think they have like extra adventurers kits on this ship that we could take?
Like, what do you mean extra adventures kits?
Yeah, like you usually buy them. It's like a kit with a whole bunch of like different like ropes and like batons and like a cooking kit.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about.
Like an adventurer's kit.
I mean, I have.
Do you not
That's what
already have that stuff,
Yeah.
Toad?
I don't have any of that, bro. I haven't had that stuff since you guys rescued me.
Oh, damn.
And you're just thinking about this now?
Because
were
we're
the
in a
garden
dangerous
for long-
situation.
Remember when I called and asked if you wanted me to buy you anything?
Well, I didn't think an adventurer's kit was something that was more important than like my weapons or something, you know. But I mean, yeah, an adventurer's kit would help, like ball bearings, you know, maybe like
You have
I
weapons?
have rations.
We have rations. I bought
I'll tell you. I'll
rations.
tell you everything that I have in my inventory at the moment. You want to see? Okay, equipment. Needle of Disguise, Potion of Greater Healing, Toby's Mask, Case of Map Scrolling, Holy Water, Oil, Smoke Beads, and pretty much everything else is stuff that I use as magical weapons.
Wow.
I mean, I got
All right,
ropes.
Raimi
But
is
in
going
light.
to turn to audience and minor illusion his crystal.
Oh, my like crystal. Okay, I can open my crystal.
You opened the dimensional
while you've got that
storage.
open.
Well, you got that.
I'm going to toss all of my javelins and my longbow and my shield and my flail in there. So that I'm not covered in weapons.
Well, Raimi is more specifically going to direct Tobayashi's attention to Raimi's corner of the room that is literally a mishmash and pile of various different adventuring gear that he has collected over.
I'll take an adventurer's kit worth of gear that's from in there. Whatever an adventurer's gear would be.
We can discuss that like perhaps during
Yeah.
the break.
Oh, cool. Shop is open.
Also, Toby, you should have 14 days worth of rations because I bought everyone 14 days.
I do have 14 days worth of rations.
Because I didn't buy everyone that.
Infinite
Yeah,
rations.
I have those. I just didn't read it off.
As long as I have good burning equipment.
All right, so is this going to go for the normal rate of Remy? And at 20 gold.
It's going to be 200 platinum, actually.
Oh, come on, guys.
I mean, like, look, he could pull that, but he knows that Tobayashi's poor right now.
That's okay.
Just
You
in
can owe
bed.
me.
What is 12 days of rations? Would it be 10? Because it only lets me put 10.
Put 10 and then put 4.
Put 10 first, and then you can put more after that. Like, D&D Beyond limits the amount that you can add all at once
Yeah.
if it's not already in your inventory.
Okay. All right, I added it.
It's
I guess
really
it was-
annoying for
yeah.
taking away or adding gold. Because they like only let me add like 100 gold.
All right, and then adventuring
does do
gear,
that
I
for
guess.
me.
That's what's happening here. I don't know where that would be at in this thing.
What you're looking for is the Explorer's Pack.
Explorers. Okay.
Mhm.
It has a backpack,
Hey.
a bedroll, a mess kit, a tinderbox, 10 torch, 10 days of ration, and a water skin. Well, in my world, you have 2 water skin because 1 water skin is dumb. You need 2 to survive for a day.
Escape bedroll. Okay. I'm good now.
And 50 feet of hempen rope.
This entire time we've been like traveling, you've had none of this stuff. We've just been
I've had
making you
none
sleep
of
on
it.
the ground.
He's
He's
just
a
been
monk, dude. He's
I've been
into that.
sleeping in
That's
my
what he
silk.
does.
I've been using my like hammock silk thing. No,
Oh.
I'm used to sleeping on a hard ground. Well, like our beds are literally made out of wood only.
And you know, every morning he would eat worms that are coming out of the ground, and
Yeah. I don't have rations at all.
He wasn't allowed to wash them off either.
So the day ends.
Let's go.
The day ends. You all go to bed. Some with regrets, some with desires to see once again what happened during the evening, during their dreams. And some just wondering how they're going to survive tomorrow. So, you're all being taken back to your room, and you have this last day of rest, of peace. Now I have one question, as always. Does Fisher want to sleep or meditate? Or meditate?
Yeah, we're doing both because we're about to.
Yeah, he'll meditate with me and then he'll go to sleep afterwards.
Get my dice out, so we'll just.
You're not meditating, you're sleeping. I know the difference.
Mm-hmm. And your coin?
This which is the check and which is the save again?
So it's 14 altogether? No, I'm
That's how that works, right?
The check,
Yeah, that's how it
the check is for meditating, and the roll is for sleeping. The save is for sleeping.
Okay, I'm gonna redo the save with a coin. Instead of a 4, it's an 8.
or more.
Then a 10 on the check.
I think he's used it so much he should deserve proficiency with his coin.
Fisher would like to change his object to coin.
So, you know, 10 for meditation. That's very average. You sort of have this very passing moment of you feel like you're in the zone. All right. You open your eyes. All right, I'm here. Yeah, I'm back. You look around and you're about to step forward, and then you realize you can't feel the ground. Damn it! I'm actually dreaming of something. So
Yes, the age-old
you
try and meditate and fall asleep.
Well, it's more of, you know, that place you are when you're not exactly asleep, so you can basically guide your imagination towards something. So you might be thinking about, oh, that wouldn't be great if during the adventure we'd meet a monster, but because you're so close to falling asleep, you're just influencing your imagination and you actually see it in your mind. But that's when you realize, ah, damn it. Never mind.
You went in for a power nap, but then you knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
For the save, well, you do your best. You fall asleep. Meditation helps. Sorry. And you dream about your personal space. I mean,
How great it would be to be there.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you've succeeded, because you're closer, because the DC has been lowered, but since your last roll was a success, it's still higher than 8 now. So,
Mm-hmm. Understandable.
so you try to get into that space, that moment, but you just end up dreaming about your own meditational space instead. You know, it's kind of nice. You have a very nice conversation with Terranad, and for some reason, Terry actually speaks. That's probably the moment where you really go, oh yeah, that's really a dream. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Terry speaking. Okay. You open your eyes, you're in your room. Audience. You fall asleep thinking about everything that happened. And you have vague memory of waking up, of eating breakfast with your friends and the rest of the crew, and then being told that you're about to reach destination and it's about time you all gather to the deck. As all good dreams do, you are being filled with the memories of something you didn't actually do. Something giving reason to why you're standing on the observation deck of the ship. But as you're watching the beginning of the day, the sun rising, peering above the horizon, changing the colors of the clouds, you sort of have this moment of, but wasn't there colors? You realize you're inside of a book. Everything doesn't have any colors. It's just drawn lines. You look around. You see there's a desk. There are several books on the desk. There's one book that is placed aside from the rest. The pile of books, you feel like you know some of them. Just looking at the titles on top of them, they bring back images of challenges you've had in your life. Or in dreams. But there's this one book set aside. I mean, when you look at it, there's just one word written on it. Sacrifice. When you read the book, look into the pages. Not because you think you should, but because you're answering a calling, as if the dream just wanted you to look inside of the book. Since dream can force you to do those things, it feels natural. You realize it's a book talking about the choice you made in a dream about saving one person and letting another one die as someone was about to kill everyone. And then you remember the question that was asked you. Who do you sacrifice? But as you're thinking about this, you hear another voice. And there's a warmth coming from that voice that just states, now. The lesson that you have not learned. When you turn around, you are completely blinded by the sun rising from the mountains. And you wake up on this disturbing and slightly blinding moment of, what lesson I have not learned? But you are awake, and it is the very early morning, but everything looks very fine and normal around you. Sensation are what they should be. Alright, so you're not in a dream anymore. Everyone else wakes up. It's a beautiful morning. You know you're going to be arriving in a few hours. You know you only have those few moments to prepare yourself. Everyone, well, except Jor, because he doesn't need to, but he can if you want. As you did with every morning, you know there is food waiting for you, and the galley, you know, especially for audience, there is a dwarven woman that you've become very friendly with who's gonna let you have a little shot of something special in the morning if you want.
Eggs and bacon sound good. Before we go and not be able to eat for months on end.
Well,
We're going to be able
you
to
guys will
eat.
be eating good berries.
well, for everyone else, it's eggs and sausages. For audience, it's eggs and bourbon.
Pancakes?
No, I was gonna say bourbon marinated sausage, but
That sounds good too.
dwarven bourbon, you know, different than
Yeah.
human bourbon.
This is why you always make friends with the cooks, guys. Gotta get that. Good
I'm
eat.
eating these eggs and bacon. I'm chowing down. I'm expecting us not to be able to eat for a while, other than George Goodberries.
Yeah, I will eat a nice meal because I'm expecting to eat good berries
I-
for a while.
Yeah, I steal some bacon and put it in my satchel. Like-
The construct language, is that specifically the garden, or is that also like
You're not completely sure, but you have one moment where you believe it may be a more widely spoken language, because you do remember a single instance where you were in a dungeon in an arcane laboratory, you had that language prepared, and you heard a construct speaking. So there is a slight chance that it is worldwide.
Alright, in that case, I'm gonna switch Terranad to Construct and Arcana.
Okay. And with the morning, Terranad also tells you, try and not get me killed. I'd very much like to keep on living, not getting dismantled by a mad wizard.
Same.
But you're the one who can walk. So it's your responsibilities.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Don't let me down, because if you do, you've just let yourself down. Remember
On
that.
my way. On my way.
What did you say?
What? Nothing.
Okay.
A song. Rusty Roots.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, this is an interesting moment where we can take the break as everyone eats their morning breakfast. Audience, a better version of sausages. Everyone else, normal version of sausages. Remy, watching audience eat a sausage with hope in his dream that one day. Never mind. No. I'm gonna get this out of my eye.
The judge is going to see.
Judge,
Going to see Remy's impure thoughts.
I don't think that he would see that as a sin. If you're having those thoughts about children, maybe, but not about audience.
You know, oddly, a very progressive God, all things considered.
Well, considering the quantity of gods there are, yeah, no, there are gods who really don't care.
Probably a god of homophobia.
A whole God just like dedicated to it.
Just dedicated to it.
I'd say, well, oddly enough, I'd say God of Fertilities would probably prohibit this because you don't get children from this.
Yeah.
Kind of sex. You're not.
Hera would not. be a fan.
Only if it's a polyamorous relationship. Then it's
The loophole. The loophole guy.
As long as there is at least one mating pair within the polyamorous relationship.
Yeah, no, the rest is okay.
It's okay.
No, because, there are gods of lust, and I guarantee you a god of lust will not care. All right, so
Some are concerned with sowing the seeds of the earth, while others are just glad that you're sowing the seeds to begin with.
Yeah.
all right, so break before we start talking about things which will need a 18 and older rating. So we'll see you again in 15 minutes. We'll see you again in 15 minutes. Let's. Aha! I see Valenvi is there, so.
You want Ducks V?
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be yes.
I could go to her voice call and ask her real quick. I'll be right back.
She just said ducks.
She just said Ducks. Okay, never mind. I don't have to go in there.
All right, so see you again in 15 minutes. Bye. Hello, and welcome back. Sorry, I had a bit of a hiccup. Welcome back. See, ducks are laughing at you now. Alright. Sorry, Valenvi, there is no duck living above the clouds. So. Morning comes, you eat a good breakfast. Audience, you get treated to a special kind of good sausages made by the dwarf. Everyone seems to have taken a liking to you, so evening goes pretty well. Up until you arrive at probably somewhere around 11 o'clock. Where a little bit of anticipation has been creeping in for all of you. Probably wondering how this is going to turn around, turn up. Now how is this going to go from where you are to where you're supposed to be? If you have something to take care of, now is the time to do it. Because I'm jumping directly to when Captain Null calls you to the observation deck.
I think, like I said before, but you know, just in case something weird happens when we leave this ship, water breathing on everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, now we just swim to the spire.
Yeah, I already did my graffiti. I still have that ball on me though that the captain gave me.
Yes. So no one wants to do cloud walking. So when you jump on the cloud, you just go. You're laughing, but someone did that once. All right, so noon is about to arrive. First mate calls you to the observation deck. He just looks around for a moment, and I hope you haven't had lunch yet. The next part might be a bit not compatible with eating. Follow me. And this dwarf-size machine takes you outside on the observation deck. The moment you arrive there, you have this moment of, oh man, it's cold here. You look around. Not directly below you, but all around you, you do see a few clouds. That's a bit high. Immediately, you notice Kaln and Siv are there. And Captain Null is on the deck also. You get closer to him and you notice overboard there is this large, very deep, very dark gray fog bank. And it reaches very high up. You know you're higher than some clouds, and this feels like it's just barely a few hundred feet below you. Captain Knowles just greets you all. Ah, finally. So, I hope you've all taken care of what needed to be taken care of, because this is where we part ways. And he starts handing each one of you a little ball that looks very similar to one that he gave Tobiyashi when he entered the ship.
So he gives me another one?
No, he doesn't give you a second one. He asked you if you used it.
Yeah, I used it earlier when I hit my face on the ship.
Make a deception roll.
Alright, I have a +0 to... Wait, let me see. +0 deception, so a straight roll!
Come on.
It's a 7. That's a 7.
Okay. He looks at you and alright then. Well, I'll give you a new one. Just give me the old one. I rolled a natural 20.
Okay, I hold the old. I hand him the old one and I take the new one. Expiration date.
So he hands you a new one, gives Colin one, and gives Sivs one. Alright, so he looks over the railing. We're about 8,000 feet above ground right now. I'd say you have about just a little under a minute before hitting the ground. Just make sure you squeeze that ball before you hit the ground.
Okay.
Okay.
Seems easy enough.
And saved.
George's gonna blow his mind. Do they expire?
Sorry, what?
Do they expire?
What does expire? What?
The orbs. Like, if I were to turn
Usually,
into a bird and then save the orb.
usually most magical objects have a shelf life of 1,000 years, unless it's been
nice.
unless it's been made by an artificer. Then the shelf life is much smaller.
Oh yeah.
You could technically save the orb, Jork, if you wanted.
If I wanted to, I could save the orb.
So the orb is essentially a portable, single-use featherfall. He unlatches the railings. Oh yeah, remember that slowing down doesn't last forever. Don't squeeze it too soon.
Yikes.
Also saved.
So where do you think we should squeeze it? About 30 seconds? Should we count to like 30?
Just like in the top
Squeeze it at,
left-hand
like, 30?
corner, it says that Remy will remember this.
Because you said it takes about a minute to fall. Would you say about like 30, 35? We should squeeze about 30, 35.
He looks.
Yeah.
He looks over the ship. Yeah, somewhere between 38 and 45, I'd say.
So does
Very
it matter if we were to hit it as soon as we jump off?
Yes,
it
doesn't
would
matter.
wear off
That's what he's saying.
before you reach the ground.
Oh, okay, all right.
Don't do that to me.
All right.
He just said you're 8,000 feet off the ground. If you use Featherfall, you fall 60 feet per round. Just make the math of
So
how
I could
long
do
it's
it.
going
I
to
could
take.
do it 30 feet before everybody else does it. Is that correct? No, I'm kidding.
If you want to do the math on that,
There's
Toby, yeah.
There's a pretty big window.
Yeah, I could negate 30 points of damage from falling.
Hey, Remy, you're going to be able to it's going to kind of seem like you're flying for a bit.
So I wanted to imagine just like you say that, but Raimi is already kind of like at the exit way, just like prepping himself.
He's just doing a few squats, you know. You have Civ that takes a moment. It just reminds you the moment you hit the fog, you're gonna meet the judge. Don't resist him. It's gonna tear apart your mind. And he won't let go until judgment has been passed. You might find yourself very close to the ground if you resist him too much. And
Oh, wait, so are we going to be being judged before we can hit our orb? It's kind of awkward.
That's yeah.
That doesn't seem very safe.
Mm-mm.
yes, the steps behind this is you jump, you hit the fog barrier, you get judged, and then you have to wake up before you hit the ground. That is
Well,
the chain of events.
Wait, so we're hitting the ground afterwards. We're not hitting water.
Can't be sure.
we don't know. Also, it wouldn't
That's why
matter.
Remy
It
did the
also
just
wouldn't
in
matter
case.
from this height very much. I'm going to tell you right now, Toby, if it hitting water or land wouldn't matter from this height that much.
Well, I mean, still, water or land. If we land in water, we're gonna be swimming to the island. Other than that, we don't know how far away from the island we're gonna be
I think
No.
we're close.
because we're right on the shore.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much. I think if we have to swim at all, it's going to be like 10, 15 feet.
I thought the fog was like away from the shore, though. What I was imagining was like a ring around the shore, a couple hundred feet, and then
I think
No.
we're above the fog.
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
above the fog. Okay.
The ship is not
Makes more
on the water. That's why I said the captain is looking over the railing.
See, what we should have had to do is we should have had to pull them up all the way to right above the spire, just drop on top of the spire, place the orb,
Yeah,
and get
why
out.
don't we do that?
2-second mission.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Do you bring that up?
I mean,
Well, we've
I
got a
guess-
secondary or
I'm
a
not
primary
the captain
objective.
here.
We'd be
We had a
skipping.
primary objective. I would mention it though for the future. I'd be like, would it be possible to drop people directly on the spire, or
Civ answers and say, I would not recommend it. Several very large predator roams the surrounding of the island where the spire is. Some of them fly. You might be snatched up as you fall.
okay?
Also, above table, do you really want to do that particular vector calculus?
I've already counted how long it's gonna take you to fall to the ground. So
No, it was more a question for the future. I'm not trying to land directly on the spire. I think even if we did, that'd be way too risky because we would have actually any information of what we were trying to do. I also feel like it would draw quite a bit of attention if we just dropped.
So Civ does bring the element of the further away from the spire you jump, the lesser the chance of encountering flying predators. The lesser the chance.
Okay. Roll a D100 real quick. Rolls a 100. Oh,
It's like, well,
whoa.
Alright, so Captain Null looks at all of you. Well, we have a wager of who's going to jump first, so I'd like to know who wins.
How'd I go?
well, I was gonna say, well, bye guys, and I'm gonna just.
Is there just a mad rush for the rail and all of us trying to jump?
I'm just gonna jump off the ship now.
Yep.
I don't know how much I have to count, so I'm gonna jump.
I mean, we're over the landing zone or whatever, right?
Yeah, we're already here, right? So we can just jump off.
Where
Yeah.
are we over?
Can I roll a stealth check to see if I jumped off before everyone stopped talking?
Right now you're above the fog bank. You're not sure exactly where you are. Civ is hoping that you will be landing somewhere on the eastern island. Probably near the shore where usually people arrive. There's a port there. There's a small town that's very close to the edge. He's hoping that this is where you'll be arriving.
All right, let me.
The 12 small islands around it, this is the limit of this island chain. So right now, you're not at the edge of it. You're slightly inside, above everything.
Okay.
Let
me see if I,
drop in right at the bar.
I was gonna say.
Straight
Let me see if I could jump off the ship before anybody finished talking, real quick.
All right, well,
I'm gonna
if you want to go
roll
Yeah,
like
can you
this,
roll initiative to see who jumps off?
that's what I was going to say. Roll for initiative.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh.
George got 21.
I got 21 too. 18
Ooh.
plus 3.
Oh, you get to go first because you get the +3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
a 19 plus 2.
Yeah, you jumped literally like a nanosecond before George.
I looked at Jorg, I was like, don't be goddamn damn.
All right, let's see how it goes for everyone else. Remy, what did you roll?
oh, sorry. So Raimi rolls a 24. However, he is actually going to defer his jump until audience jumps off because he doesn't want to chance being separated.
Hold action until audiences jump.
Fair enough.
Okay, so what does audience roll?
Audience isn't trying to jump first, so they can go before me.
All right, well,
Audience is working on lining up his soundtrack of Free Falling. Where he knows. He's scrolling through his songs. He's trying to queue up a couple ones.
all right, and Fisher?
I got a 7.
So you go dead last.
He's got the
Yeah.
Orb Pod Nano real quick. He's like scrolling through it.
All right, so just
The
just for
orb.
fun, audience, roll for me.
Well, okay. Audience rolls. That one. I called it. It's a nat Called it, baby. I told you I'm scrolling.
Yeah, everyone else is just like beelining it, and you're just kind of standing there.
Actually,
jump
just
on the
technically,
railing.
audience and Rainy are going last.
As he's saying, he's like, "Oh yeah, we bet on people who's gonna be jumping off first." I kind of just like backfall off of the edge of the ship.
See ya,
into the clouds.
everyone.
What were you talking about again?
All right.
Jump off.
So, just give me a moment.
All right, kids. If the ship is traveling at 20 kilometers per hour in the westerly direction,
Yeah, is the
If you're
ship
falling
technically
at about-
stable in the sky right now, or is it still moving
How,
forward? 'Cause
how fast are
separated
we
are we?
falling? Yeah. How fast are we falling
The
here?
wind speed is no. Right now, you're stationary above where Civ thought that you'd hit land.
Okay, so we're not going to be like separated by like 10 miles.
okay, never mind. We can ignore the vector calculus then. Thank God.
All right, so you all start falling. Oh yeah, that's right. Civ and Colin.
I assume they're going to get higher than a nat 1.
Well, just the dice itself, it's 14, and then the one is 11. So, yeah.
Audience poured himself a whole ass drink before he jumped off.
Oh
You're
god.
just like taking it.
All right.
Poured himself one final drink with the cook. Jumped off.
All right, so you have Tobiyashi and Jorg who just jump off, screaming. You have Civ who looks
Got
at
my orb in my hand.
with
Of course.
the orb in your hand. You
Trying
have
not to count too fast because I'm freaking out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah,
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ah, that's been long
Oh,
enough.
squeeze!
That was 3 seconds.
You have Civ who just looks at Colin and show him you go first. Colin jumps, Civ jumps, Fisher jumps, audience takes a big swig and jumps. And
Down an entire goblet.
As we're falling, because I know we have like a minute or 2 or 3 while we're falling in the air. I'll talk to
You
my
wait
old
2 or
self.
3, Toby.
Yeah, I'll wait.
You
Yeah, go
literally
for it.
said
You'll be
38
fine.
seconds.
No,
Alright.
I can negate 30 points of damage. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Um,
800
Tobiyashi
feet
plays
up,
chicken
only
with the
30. You'll be fine.
so
I could last more than you guys could last falling down, right? Okay, so
So I could turn into a bird.
I
and
talk
just
to my I'll
fly.
talk to my orb, kind of like half speaking what it can speak and half speaking my own common, because I barely learned anything from the 2 weeks we were up there.
well, no, you've been trying to learn this for an entire week, meaning that you sort of understand what he's saying. There are moments where you would probably say, "No, I don't know that word," but you probably have hesitation when time comes to talk. Sort of, hold on, I know how to say this.
As we're falling through the clouds, I'll just be like, "Does this feel like home?" And I'll just keep continuing and waiting to see what he says. As we're falling through the air.
Does this feel like home? One thing you realize as you're saying this, Tobiyashi, you take the ball and you try and speak. A lot of people don't know this, but it's very loud, the wind as you're going down. So you sort of realize that you're talking and there's no chance he heard you. Because it's like trying to scream right next to a, I don't know, 18-wheeler's engine as it's just trying to annoy you, going... And one after the other, you just fall inside of this dark fog bank. Just an audience, you're the last one who sees everyone, so you have the best place where you just see. Oh shit. Immediately you have a sensation as if everything just slows down tremendously. And you have this feeling of being weightless right now. Not feeling the wind, just in suspension. You hear this voice blasting inside of your mind. It is nearly invasive, forceful. You just hear it say, "You have been judged by your peer. Do you accept their judgment?"
For me?
All of you, you all hear that voice inside of you.
Check the judgment of my peers.
Yep.
And I press X to accept.
The question is, do each one of you accept?
I accept.
Okay.
Accept the terms and conditions.
As you're falling to your death.
Raimi won't press X, but he will press triangle. Hoping this QTE for
Wow,
this
okay.
event.
He presses O to doubt.
As much as audience wants to decline, he will accept.
All right.
Not gonna risk it.
You have this. No, you're kind of you kind of feel good about this element, this not resisting it, because you've all been preparing for this, and you feel like you've. All right, come on, give me your judgment, man. And it feels like, you know, when someone just gives you a backhanded slap on your stomach and all of your body just goes. That moment, that 1 second moment where for some reason that slap just drops all of your defenses. And you're completely open to someone just striking you at that moment because all of your body is stuck on that motion. Doesn't hurt, but it's enough to blow away your defenses. And each one of you after that moment feels exposed to a point where you've never been. It's as if someone just ripped out every single mental defense that you were able to summon for this. And you feel raw. Jorg, from inside of your head, you hear the voice. You feel it going through your entire life. And then suddenly it pulls things from your mind. And you see yourself in front of a group of person guarding a pile of traps. You knew at that moment that there were traps made for poaching, and you had decided that you weren't going to let that happen, but unfortunately they resisted. They very much resisted, and one of them died before surrendering by your hand. The entity slams in your mind the consequences of that moment. That person was not there because it believed it was in what it was doing. That person was there because it needed money. It needed money to survive. And so it accepted this. You killed an innocent at that moment. Someone who could have easily been convinced to move away by money. You have another moment where it feels like all of the air was pushed out of your body when you're shown this moment, and you have this just brief moment of, and then again the air just gets pushed out of you, and you have this moment where you decided to go against the will of a god biome in a new environment, and everyone warning you not to do this, but you did it anyway. You always felt good by the fact that there was the storm and everything was lost. Because when you realized what you were about to do, there was this moment of, oh God, I almost did something very awful. But then an image, a single image, slams in your mind of a single seed growing on the beach.
Uh-oh.
Again, you have this moment of as the memory is torn out of you, but you still have it, but it's forced out. You have this moment of watching audience coerce someone into accepting being executed.
I wasn't at that session.
It's not an excuse.
It's like,
Pay
you
my
slept
sins.
on this event, George.
Pay for them.
Yeah.
That one, everyone present at that moment has it. And you all have that moment of as you try to breathe in after having that memory extracted from your mind and slammed back in. But George, that is nearly everything that the judge shows you. The only thing he shows you is several small fights where you killed people from the hunter cult. You were defending yourself, but they're not all there because they want to be there. Some of them are being coerced. Some of them are being sold a lie.
I declare mistrial.
Ask if you can take it to a higher court.
Uh-huh. I'm taking this to the Supreme Court. Joke's on me. It is the Supreme Court.
Many people join the hunter cult because they feel like they've been excluded, and the hunter cult uses a lot of effort into making them feel like they're part now of a bigger family, and they use that feeling to integrate them. So you see this string of people you've killed while attacking hunter cult targets. People who thought they belonged because of a lie they had been sold.
And that's why on January 6th they marched on the Capitol.
Yes, that's right.
Accept it without complaint. I'll take my verdict.
And as a
whether or
matter
not
of
I agree
fact,
with it.
everyone who killed people of the not the garden, but the hunter cult, also have that
secret backstory stuff.
Foreshadowing.
also have that moment of, okay, we killed people who weren't there out of their full. But Jorg, that is the last thing that is just for you.
Squeeze it.
Fisher.
Squeeze the orb.
Yes? I didn't hear. Sound
As I,
wasn't...
as I wake up, I squeeze the orb. Or I take a moment. I'm like coming back to myself, and then I realize I'm still in free fall, and I squeeze.
You're still... You're still stuck in limbo right now.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'll wait.
Fisher, when it hits you, you have all of these moments also where you killed people and you realize that, oh goodness, a lot of people are being coerced by this cult. They're being sold a lie, and you can't help but make a parallel with audience for some reason.
For some
reason.
And okay, they're being sold a lie. It doesn't change where you left Terry in the hands of someone else. Poor Terry lived through very traumatic events. Not as bad as the nightmare illusion, but he was left alone to fend for himself. A creature not even 30 days old. The second thing that comes blasting at you, but this one you were not prepared for this, comes from the very earliest memories you have. When you blew up a ship. The judge shows you a few days earlier a group of people joining the ship. And when it exploded, 3 of them were talking about wanting to get off the next port because this was not what they wanted. 3 innocent were killed when you blew up that ship. That one you did not expect to have consequences of an action not properly thought out. You also have this moment of although for you it's more mental because you don't actually breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Jorg, you let audience kill someone. Granted, you were surprised, but you let it happen. More than once. There's also a dwarf in your memories. And there was a night elf. This element of justifying yourself, of recentering yourself, the defense is just not there right now in your mind. We're anticipating this in a very bad way and thinking about every moment where, you know, maybe this is going to be considered bad. Maybe this is... Just like everyone else, you have that moment where you didn't do anything and let audience kill someone in cold blood. Nearly. So that one, no, I didn't think about that one. Challenging you. That you nearly see this from his point of view. And you see everything you missed at that moment because it's been shown. And he's dead.
Oh.
You have that moment of free will, willing, desiring to be this hunting force, this bullying force. But that is all that your mind sees right now. You just put in people's mind the fact that he was contaminated, and although you did not see the moment where he got his gut ripped out, now you see it, and you sort of have this moment of, oh man, I've seen this in plays, but it's never been that bad, where they just stab him again and again. He's screaming, asking for help, saying that he's not contaminated, he hasn't been infected, and eventually just stops moving, and the blood just spills everywhere. You know it's your fault.
I just throw up on the ground in front of me as we land.
You know, that guy could have saved, like, you know, like the princess's primary guard. You know, that one guy that could have
That,
made the
yeah,
difference.
he would have been the second guy that survived. Yeah.
When you escaped long ago, by planning this very carefully, you thought you had planned everything and everything was going smoothly, and you thought you would just escape your prison where you were making these wretched scrolls day in and day out. But there was one thing you did not plan for. The rage of your master when this happened. He took it out on the others. Others, just like you, chained to these desks, forced to write scrolls in other chambers that you had not seen. They paid severely for you leaving. And although you know that this is more a sin of ignorance than a voluntary moment where you decided to sacrifice them, the judge does put it in your mind. It is a sin of ignorance. You did not plan this completely. Your actions made innocent people suffer. This one you were not prepared for, and you have this moment of realizing that you've condemned people to live everything you have lived, just a little bit worse. You are also treated a few moments to things you thought you justified very properly by saying, oh, you know, he is wealthy. He's not going to realize that I stole his purse. But as all good lords do, well, bad lords, anyway. Some of them were very pissed by realizing that someone had stolen from them, and they took it out on the peasants, raising tax, asking for more resource, taking out their frustrations on others because that money was meant for a worse lord, asking them for money and they couldn't pay, so now they were forced to pay in another way. And because they're lords, bad lords, they made the people under them pay. And again, a moment of, damn it, did not see that one.
No, I think that one would just be a straight up fuck.
But because you are extremely honest with your lifestyle, all of these sins, you expected them. And because you expected them, because you do not resist them, they just don't hit quite as hard. And contrary to what some people might have said, no, the judge says absolutely nothing by the fact that you're attracted by the audience. That is not a sin in his mind. Although you do have the feeling he's watching at a few moments where you were looking at a potion and considering forcing audience to become your lover, but he does have a moment of eyeing those moments, but since you did not succumb, they do not.
It's like a fun fact for the audience, he still has that potion.
Now the date with me, no, I'm just playing. Okay.
That was your own fault. You drank something. Audience. Probably you're the one who is the most surprised by things that the judge shows you. There is, of course, every single moment where you coerced someone into accepting their death. Because that happened twice so far. So, you also see this moment where you were in a ship. Tobiashi was near you. And you did not just beat your enemy. You mutilated it. You cut both his hand in a fight. And forced him to show you around before killing him. And you did not even plan on killing him. It just happened.
It's a reverse dog and pony show.
So you have that moment of, I forgot about that one. You also have several moments while you were traveling at sea where you sort of remember coercing some people into believing that, you know, it's fine. I'm part of the ship. I'm gonna help. Then getting them into severe trouble. You remember forcing your way around the law a few times to get aboard ships. These don't hit quite as hard, but you sort of had this moment, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot I did that. Oh yeah, that's right, I never paid for that ticket. I said I would.
Shit, never mind.
Probably though, one thing that does hit is when you're shown trying to convince people to follow your religion. Writing those pamphlets. You're not convinced why, but you are feeling the gaze of the judge, judging you for selling a lie, coercing people into blindly following a faith which is not what you tell them it is. You are shown all of those who sacrificed themselves, believing they were sacrificing themselves for the greater good during the fall event.
I think that whole fall event would just show up, actually, since I did get a bunch of innocent people killed in the stands as well.
Well, to be fair, it was Fisher who called the dragon, but it was not actually a sin. He did not...
Okay, all the people the hunter cult killed, then. Because I wrote that letter.
And you are also shown that many followers of the hunter cult are also being coerced into following them. They are not there because they believe in the idea of being the ultimate predator that doesn't need to think about what it's doing. It's just... Some of them think they're just there because they're superior. But many are just looking for a place to belong. And you do see a few images, because you also have been told there that they heavily rely on this to recruit, of innocent people believing that finally someone was looking out for them. A god would finally listen to their prayers. And you killed them for that.
Sounds kind of similar to what I say. In terms of
well, there is that, because you have no ability right now to defend yourself and justify yourself, you probably have those thoughts for a moment. This element of, am I doing exactly the same thing? But that's because you currently have no defense. None of the things that you usually use to justify yourself. Things that you've nearly pushed to a point of mental muscle memory. But each one of those events are shown to you, and each one of them hits you, and you have those moments of once all of you have seen those things, once all of you had their emotions and memory ripped out of them with such brutality, it felt nearly excessive, but stopping just short of being an all-out aggression. You all hear the same thing in your mind. You have been found guilty. Now you need to repent. And slowly, each one of you starts regaining consciousness. The world starts coming in focus again, and you start feeling the wind on your body just moving across it. Your eyes starts focusing again, and you realize that you're staring at a very black cloud in front of you. You're not exactly sure how long you've been out. You're not exactly sure how you're supposed to turn yourself, because not all of you are looking straight down. Some of you have changed position. You do not know how to move your body in this element of free fall. So not every one of you actually knows how close to the ground you are. Some do. And you sort of have this moment of seeing, okay, we're still very far off the ground. There's still time. And then you hear this screeching. And you hear discharge of energy. You hear something screaming. And you hear Civ just screaming at all of you, "Wake up!" And this is when you realize you're not actually watching the black sky. You're watching a huge raven flying, diving toward you, claws out. There's several of these creatures. You're being attacked while you're free falling.
I throw up on one.
And this is why, audience, I was insisting on your initiative, because I kept all of the numbers you rolled. This is your actual combat initiative.
Let's go!
That kind of makes sense. I'd probably be the last to wake up. Everyone else has been like awake for like 20 seconds. They're like, audience is still just seeing all this since.
Yeah, like, good. All of us got the let audience do his thing one.
All
Yeah,
right.
I already threw up like a while ago. As we were flying through the air, it kind of hit audience in the face, but he was already asleep before he woke up, you know? And it flew off of him.
So, I know exactly how many rounds you have until you hit the ground. There is an element you need to take into consideration, and probably Jarg is the one that feels it the most. If you hit the orb, yes, you're gonna start falling slowly, which will make you a much easier target for the birds attacking you. So you have a choice. You can try and fight them off while you're falling, trying to win before you hit the ground, or you can set off your orb and become easy prey for a creature very used to attacking midair. Just something to take into consideration. So, we are 15 minutes away from the normal ending time. I do not wish to impose you a combat which might last 45 minutes. So I'm asking you, what do you want? Do you want to end the session a little bit earlier than usual? or do you want to do this? And be very honest, be very sincere. I will not hold it against anyone if they say I want to sleep before I get to wake up in the morning and go to work.
All I'm going to say is it's my weekend, so
I normally would say I probably have to go to sleep, but I actually have laundry that's going to be in there for another hour, so I can't go to sleep anyway because it's my clothes, it's like my sheets and stuff, so I can keep going.
I mean, I can keep going.
Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Had half calf coffee at like 5, so... Or no, 4.
Okay.
I'd rather not, but I'm willing to be outvoted if that's what everybody else wants.
I would...
Well, like, how much do you not? Is it like extreme not, or is it?
I
like...
have been out of meds for a bit,
Oh,
so I'm crashing kind of hard.
would rather not do it if someone doesn't want to.
Yeah, I don't
So
want
my
to
vote
force.
is against.
like I said, it's just my weekend, so it's
I
whatever.
don't want to force. I don't want to
is.
force anyone to do it
Yeah.
who doesn't want to do it. So if
Yeah.
Andre doesn't want to do it, that's fine.
And I will not resist this. If one of you does not want, I am completely okay with finishing this 10 minutes early.
My vote didn't matter because I don't have responsibilities right now.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
I don't
me
have
too.
any responsibilities for these next 2 days, so
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
My
I
only
would like to
responsibility
matter to me.
is staying up later so we can keep playing. So you guys are hindering my responsibility.
But Andre, we could end this fight in one round. We just toss the bomb up and blow it up in the sky.
yeah.
You mean that bomb that's still in
Finally!
dimensional storage?
Yeah.
Yeah, what happens if you use the dimensional storage in free fall?
Well, the
Yeah,
dimensional
we'll fall
storage...
past it.
Yeah, you're going to just fall past it.
Oh, okay.
No.
And then it's going to be lost because it's going to
I was
be
gonna say
stuck.
who's lower. So hit the dimensional storage. I'll fly into it. All right, and I'll still be down there, and then I could tie it to my rope
We'll
and
just
throw it down.
crash into like the shelves or whatever's in there.
It's fine. It depends on how low it's below me. You know.
It's the highest one up.
Oh,
Because
what's
he
that?
took last.
Yeah, I am the highest one.
And he also took longest in the...
All right,
Never mind.
audience, throw. Oh wait, no, you went first, so you're actually the furthest down. Never mind.
I am the furthest down.
Remember what I said before? It's really hard to talk in free fall.
Yeah.
You won't be able to communicate with each other unless you use the orb of the garden.
Throw me the dimensional storage.
No.
All right.
No, it's fine.
Audie's about to get himself a bird pet. He's just gonna grapple one, fly off.
I was literally just thinking I could just tie him up with my silk and fly it down.
So-
you know what I mean?
Just to burn a little bit of time, so we're not too far off the mark of where we're supposed to be. The bird that you're watching, currently you see that Civ and Kaln are engaged in combat. Kaln is doing his best to fire against enemy midair. He is free falling. Civ apparently is nimble enough to jump on one bird and jump on the second bird and attacking. He is the most at ease in this situation. The birds themselves, they are large size raven. But there are slight differences. The end of their feather seems to be in continuous vaporous flux. It's as if their feather was made of mist.
Whoa.
So you recognize the general shape of the raven. You see the talons of the raven coming straight at you. But the rest of the bird, it's really not well defined because of all of these misty feathers. Yes, Zachary. That feather is in my list.
Just like mental note, mental note, mental note.
So they're ravens, right?
Yes, large size raven.
So
What's
if we just
CR
throw
on
some
it?
gems, they'll probably follow the gems, right?
That's true.
Got him.
Anything shiny? Can someone light cast the light spell somewhere else?
Since I've seen them, can I turn into them now?
No, they're not natural creature.
Damn
Well, they're natural creature on this island. So interesting.
it.
I think more specifically, he's getting at they are not considered beasts, so they are, and
Yeah.
probably have a higher challenge rating than you can transform into.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
However, you could transform into a bird, which might be useful here because you could fly around instead
Yeah,
of
giant eagle. Turn into a giant eagle.
being stuck. Or yeah, you could also summon giant eagles that would be able to.
Oh, and we could ride them.
Yeah, just turn into a giant
That'd be pretty
star-nosed mole right now.
Yeah.
The
And then we
best-
can ride
Although
those eagles
giant
to the
eagles are
spire.
pretty.
Uh-huh. We'll turn into.
Instead of
I'll
walking
summon
the
a bunch
whole
of
way.
moles, and they'll dig holes so we can keep falling and fighting the birds.
So
Yes, they can dig that fast.
Yeah, no.
That's how
Just
that
summon a bunch of small animals and you can just catapult them out of the air while you're falling with them.
Oh
You just
yeah.
catapult-
I'm conjuring puntable marmots.
I'm gonna pretend Jorg thought of that instead of just turning into a bird, so he can do that during combat. Because that would be pretty rad. All of us just having aerial combat on birds.
So, just for you, in
Okay.
case you didn't do the math completely, 8,000 feet takes 7.5 turn to reach the ground at terminal velocity for a humanoid, which means you don't know how long you spent inside of the mist barrier, but you might have anywhere between 3 to 7 rounds until you hit the ground.
Yipes.
We should probably pop our orb like a couple rounds before, not like on the
Yeah,
last round.
yeah. Don't.
It's not like an automatic stop. You're not just gonna stop.
No.
You can't like wait like last second, like a foot above the ground. Just pop it.
Yeah, because
mean,
then you'd
all
still
I
be taking
know-
all that.
Is I have a chance of catching on to one of them, and I also have an extra 30 hit points above you guys. What is that? 3d10? What is that? 3d10?
I mean, you also
30
have
hit
to. I think you
points
have to estimate also how much damage you're taking from 8,000 feet of falling damage, and how much 30 hit points is really going to matter.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's an
30 hit points is
taking that.
approximately 80-ish feet, depending
80-ish
on
feet.
the dice rolls.
Okay.
For
I'm going to put this in a different way. At least in D&D terms, just like you're looking at if you're looking at like a 20d6 of damage from falling, which is the cap for 200 feet of falling, you're looking at on average 70 hit points.
And how much does this fall negate?
your ability negates, I believe it's
30.
5 points of damage per level of monk. You incur 1d6 points of bludgeoning damage for every 10 feet of fall. So right now, if the damage was not capped, from falling from 8,000 feet, you take 800 d6 damage for your fall.
Okay.
Dude,
It says
730
that
easy.
the falling damage you take. Wait.
1d6 for
You can
every
use a
10
reaction.
feet.
Yeah, it says you use a reaction when you fall to reduce any falling damage
Yes.
you take by 30.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could
not
reduce that
30.
100. You could reduce that like 800
800
d6 by
by
30. No, not 800. 800 d6.
800 d6. Okay.
So
Hopefully
it
they roll
technically could
low.
be 800 It could be 800
Oh, it could
if
be
you rolled
like
all
6
ones.
times
On
800,
average,
yeah.
on average, that fall is going to incur you 2,400 points of bludgeoning damage.
And if I use the orb, what is
It
casts a
casts
slow
free
fall,
fall
right?
on you. It
Feather
casts
fall.
it casts slow
Don't forget
fall.
free fall.
Cast free
slow
fall on us, oh no.
Slow fall is
What?
only up to 60 feet. Is that correct?
Yes, it slows you to 50 feet per round, which is considered non-lethal
means you don't have to
damage.
pay
You do not take damage when you use Feather Fall.
So you'd want to cast it 3 rounds then before we hit the ground.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
also it lasts a minute.
Unless I'm riding one of the birds, then
Yes, the spell does stop working once you air quote hit ground, which granted the DM interprets what counts as ground in that case, but I think we can all agree that you're no longer falling if you're on top of a bird that's flying.
Exactly. Yeah. You're not continuing that 800 points of 800d6, right?
I'm gonna count whatever fall you take. I know how much distance there is after each round. Like I said, it's not very hard. It's 8,000 feet divided in 7.5 rounds. So,
Even if you land on a bird.
well, the moment you land on a bird, the counter simply restarts. But if you
Depending on
jump,
how high the
if you kill the bird, if you jump off the bird, if you are removed from the bird 1,000 feet up, you're still gonna take 1,000 feet, which means 100 d6 bludgeoning damage from your fall.
Okay.
It can work. You just have to time it really well.
I knew I should have made a parachute before I fell down.
We have a parachute. The whole point is how early do we want to pop the parachute?
Yeah, but you never know when you can pop it.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know if these
What do you mean?
birds
Double
know the
parachute?
military laws of you're not allowed to attack paratroopers.
Yeah,
And
it's
free
the
fall.
Geneva Convention. If they get judged for that, imagine.
Yeah.
Those birds are guilty of a war crime.
They already live
Well,
on the
the-
island.
the
I don't
thing-
think they're.
Yeah, everything is
That's
here
a good point.
because it's
Because they already judged. Yeah. They already know what they're here for.
There's also a realistic chance that these creatures were like summoned or like brought over, so it's just like
Nah, mist feathers is completely normal.
What's war crimes? Just be like, birds, you can't attack us. You're committing war crimes. Try reasoning with them.
Oh no, it's like Dora the Explorer. It's like swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. Oh man, the birds fly away.
All right. So I'm gonna let this stew in your mind. What you want to do? What's going to be your strategy in all of this? Remember, it is extremely difficult for you to talk while you are free falling. You would have to take your orb out of your wherever you stored it in order to talk between each one of you. So if you stored it in your backpack, well, you're gonna have to take a full round rummaging through your backpack to find it. If it's on a belt pouch, well, you can do this probably as a bonus action. But you have limited conversation, limited time to finish this fight, and no knowledge of the creature you are defending against. Fortunately, this will not add to your sins, because the judge did not condemn you for defending yourself at any point. He simply condemned you for killing or using excessive force.
Is every time I use a divine smite considered excessive force?
Depends on
No,
what you're
I'm
using.
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's very specifically the times where you already know that the original blow would have killed them, but you put in the level 2 divine smite anyway.
But I
Oh.
didn't.
I was like 7 or 8 times though. But I-
You mean every time?
I didn't even have divine smite, and I just kept hitting the guy. And, he died. My
I'm
fault.
thinking specifically like the one bandit that you killed, like to make a show, a demonstration of your power.
yeah.
No, that one probably hit you a bit stronger. All right, so.
Readers and audience woke up so late.
So, next episode, something new. The party will have to fight while falling. I don't think I can actually have a battlefield for this because it would be really hard to keep track of where everyone is, especially if some of them starts trying to grapple the birds, transform into birds. Remember that the moment you transform into something that flies, your falling speed slows down, so everyone else finds themselves 100 feet below you.
I mean, I think you could do it. It would just have to be, instead of like us on the map, we're closer to the top of the map, and the people who are closer to the top are falling slower. People to the bottom are falling faster.
Yeah, what I mean is that I can't
bunch.
put it in 3D.
Oh,
we
yeah,
have to choose either X, Y, or Z. I can't have all three. I can make this an altimeter, so you know exactly how far you are, beginning at the top and slowly, so you know how close you are to the ground, but also you've never done this before, so it's
the further down. And stuff.
It's a bit part of the uncertainty. You don't know when it's too late to use your parachute. That's the whole point of this situation. You have no ability to judge.
How many birds are there? I don't think we ever got that.
4.
Colin is currently attacking one. Civ is jumping between 2 of them, and there are 3 attacking you that you can see right now.
Okay,
5?
so there's 5 in total. Got it.
That we know.
That we know of right now.
If they act like crows, you know that most crow hunt ravens. You know that most raven hunts alone, but in dire times, when they are very hungry, ravens will call other ravens to feed if they find food. So,
Remy, what do you think about pretending to be one of their children?
You could, yeah.
alright.
Just sounds like a baby chick that gets immediately drowned out by the sound around him.
You know, someone calls Remy a black bird and he gets offended, but audience can say, "Hey, can you try and mimic being a raven?" And that's fine.
Double standards.
With audience always.
Audience has an almost unlimited number of passes.
Nearly unlimited. You know, it's gonna last up until level 17, and then it's gonna start. Alright, so thank you for watching us tonight. Thank you for being there. I hope we'll see you again next week for this very unique combat. And we'll see if the players have a very original way of figuring this out. And who knows, if everything goes really bad, it's gonna end with
New campaign.
Quite the ending of the campaign.
Not a lot of people can boast
But
about.
if you want a new character,
Yeah. So,
Hey, all we need is for Jorg to live. The rest of us can all die. Jorg just turns into a bird. We all die. And I think I have like 3 or 4 diamonds on my body. He can rest all of us, right?
Actually, wait, who has the beacon? Is the beacon in our orbs? Where is the beacon at?
The beacon's in in all of our orbs.
doesn't your body
So what?
feel like-
So what Jorg does is, once we all die, he's a bird. He flies over to the spire, drops the beacon on the spire, and that's as close as we get, and he gets out of here.
Oh yeah, this is why didn't the eagles fly them to Isengard?
Because there's
All right.
Isengard.
Or wherever.
No, the hobbits are the
Mortal.
ones that
We're
go
going to Isengard. Oh yeah.
You bring up a good point, and I'm sorry I forgot to mention it.
Because the fell beasts, because Sauron had an air force too.
Yeah, I know.
Just like the Spire has an air force too.
Yeah, well, in Lord of the Rings, the eagle were very powerful beings.
That's the book, isn't it?
Sorry? What did you say?
When they get off the mountain, because they get saved by the eagles way earlier than they should have. Than in the movie.
I don't think this is relevant.
No.
It's not relevant?
Alright, so, I forgot to mention it. If you remember, when you entered the ship, the beacon was inside of a crate at the entrance. Civ has the beacon. He took it before jumping.
I was about to say, we just did not take it. We just did not take the beacon.
We all just jumped off the ship without the beacon. I just see a chest floating next to me. I'm like, what's? Oh.
The beacon. I see.
Right.
So you just turn to a giant eagle and take Civ with you. That has the beacon.
Well, listen, we really need the beacon because I'm telling you right now, Audience is not atoning for all of his sins.
Well, right now, because you haven't had time to fully recover from what's happening, and you're just being thrusted into battle, your emotions are probably still very raw from what happened. But once you touch the ground, once you survive this, slowly your mental defenses are going to come back, and you can decide to take everything you've seen whatever way you want. If you want to take them at heart and integrate them, well, do so. If, like most probably Audience, you go back to your ways of doing things and do your best to push them aside, that's not something I'll argue against. The judge has spoken, and now you have all been let in. There's just one person you don't know what the judgment was.
Weren't there
How many sins does Terry have?
Oh, I was gonna say our two companions as well, though.
Well, as you might have seen, adventurers can rack up sins pretty easily. So Calm probably has his own set of sins. He's higher level than you. Civ lived there for quite a while.
Also, I'm just gonna take the camera here, and I'm just gonna pan it back over to, in fact, the very village I referenced not a few minutes ago, and probably a fair number of sins committed there.
Definitely.
What if? Never mind. We can finish.
Yes, it would be a good idea to wrap up the episode and.
Next time on Total Drama Island.
So, like
Next
I had
time
started to say,
Nice.
thank you for being there. We hope you're going to be there next week. We hope you enjoyed the show tonight. And we're going to see how the party fares. And if they don't fare well, we're just going to end up with 5 pancakes. Bloody pancakes.
I'm just gonna turn to one of my silks, use all my ki.
Yeah, it's just too bad. You were almost turning into jelly, Tobiyashi. Just happened too soon. Alright, so, as I said, thank you very much, and as always, if you enjoyed the show, you can support the stream by following us on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also support the stream by making a donation, becoming a Patreon, subscribing. We're very grateful for those, especially this close to Christmas. And if you can't do any of those, well, you can always simply help us by spreading the word of this channel, getting people to come and watch us. It's going to be more fun. I'm sure Valenvie will love talking to someone and not just herself. We enjoy her presence very much, but I'm sure she probably feels a little bit lonely from time to time. And that's everything. So, thank you for watching, and as always, stay safe and stay healthy. Good night.
Good night.
Tenny.